see Becky waiting in the countryside for her medicine to arrive. It turns out to be Donaldson, the scientist, that brings it to her. Somehow he knows that some of the pages from the manuscript are missing, and he tells her that if she can get them, he will take it to people who will be able to expose them. When she checks the medication, she finds out she's only got a couple of days worth. Let's, the Russian guy, is tied to a chair. He turns out not to be Mr. Rabbit either, but actually a scientist. He tells the group that they've got it totally wrong. It's not about race like they've been told, but it's about everybody. It is about the growing population that is spiraling out of control. Let's sees the phone that Ian's holding, and he knows that they're being tracked, and therefore he's probably been abandoned. So he begins to tell them a lot more. Janus is actually about a protein and an amino acid. Separately, they're completely harmless, but when they're brought together in a subject, they can make you sterile. Only 1 in 20 people are not affected by this. Because the group are suspicious about Milner, because that is who gave them the phone, they still hatch a plan to take the vaccine to her home. So Ian, Alice and Grant break into her house and surprise her. She admits she is working with them, but she is not on their side, and takes them to another room where her son is lying in bed, and apparently he's suffering from deals as well. She thinks her time is up and plans to take both their lives that night. But before so, she gives them another contact. It is Michael, the civil servant, and they decide to take the vaccine to his house. When Arby turns up at the house where they've all been staying, Jessica stops him by gunpoint and says, "Take me to the manuscript." This Arby does, but takes his time over it and gets to know Jessica a bit more. Arby seems to have changed tact a little bit, but we don't know why at this point. Arby is actually really transparent with Jessica and admits that he killed Christo, the man that brought her up. He says he's actually hid the manuscript where he was kept as a little boy. And when they arrive there, there's a couple of goons outside, and Arby takes them out for Jessica. He's trying to win her over. She just wants the manuscript. So they go to his room and he tells her, "Please don't read the manuscript." This is because he thinks from reading the manuscript they're actually brother and sister, and he tells her he doesn't want her to find out what her dad was really like. Though Michael's wife is devastated by her husband's deception, she sees a possibility of gaining a child. So Michael gets his pregnant girlfriend freed, and then reluctantly she does a deal to hand over the child once it's born. Ian, Grant and Alice turn up on Michael's doorstep and say that they've been told to bring the vaccine to him by Milner. He says that he knows a scientist called Donaldson and he'll give them a call. But actually he's calling the armed police. So when they go to leave Michael's house, they are confronted. They try to run away, but Grant is caught. Ian and Alice manage to escape though. When Letts was explaining about the Janus project, Wilson saw some logic behind it, and with all the others out of the way, he actually lets go. He eventually makes it back to Sir Conran's office, where it just so happens that Jeff, Michael's boss, is there too. Sir Conran is definitely not a nice person, and he realises that Letts is now compromised and orders Jeff to kill him. So one of the things I like about this series is that big questions are answered. So last time we wanted to know who was bringing Becky the medicine and what the Janus project actually was, and we get both answers, which is brilliant.